This exam is worth 12 marks. Bradley is a 25-year-old active male who tries to make healthy choices using the Eat Well guide when planning meals. 2 meals are shown in a table. Using this information and your knowledge of healthy eating, nutrition, and energy balance, assess the suitability of each meal for Bradley and evaluate which is the healthier choice, justifying your reasons. So I've plucked out some key words from there. So healthy eating. Make sure you're familiar with the Eat Well guide and the government's 8 tips for healthy living. It will probably feature somewhere in an exam, so it's worth learning those anyway. So nutrition, I need to know about macro and micronutrients and also energy balance. So that's your calories in versus calories out. And also physical activity level. So the higher the physical activity level, the more energy is required. So here is the first table given. You have choice A and choice B. Choice A, spaghetti bolognese. Choice B, cheese and onion pasty with chips. Now, just looking through, I'm spotting things like the fact that choice A contains healthier ingredients. It contains lots of vegetables. Choice B, the pasty and chips, contains over half of the recommended calories for a day's intake. And choice B contains 161% of the recommended intake of salt. And I also noticed that vitamin B1 is also high, but that isn't a concern. The next table shows the percentage of energy provided by each nutrient. So just having a quick look, I noticed that the spaghetti bolognese contains more complex carbohydrates than the pasty and chips. The pasty meal contains more sugar. The pasty meal contains over twice as much saturated fat, and the spaghetti bolognese contains over twice as much protein as the pasty meal. So the exam question is the suitability of each meal for an active male adult and which is healthier. And you also need to think about the energy balance. So choice B has a very high energy content. Either meal could be justified as being suitable for an active male adult. Bradley is an active male and therefore physically active. He will have a good physical activity level and therefore will use this energy. Being physically active reduces the risk of several diseases, including heart disease, and improves physical and mental health. I also noticed that the pasty meal is over half of the recommended amount of energy for a day's intake. The vegetable oil, lard and cheddar cheese are all high in fat and calories. The spaghetti bolognese meal contains cheese and vegetable oil, which are high in calories due to the fat content. Fat contains around 9 calories per gram. However, protein and carbohydrates contain around 4 calories per gram. Energy balance is important because if insufficient energy is consumed for a prolonged period, weight loss will occur. If too much energy is consumed for a long time, weight gain will happen. Both meals are high in B1, thiamine. B1 helps to release energy from carbohydrates, which is especially important for an active male. Eating excess B1 is not harmful as the body does not store it but excretes it in the urine. It's a water-soluble vitamin. Potatoes, tomato ketchup and wheat flour provide vitamin B1. Now looking at the vitamin C content, both meals provide a good amount of it, mainly due to the vegetables. Vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, so the body needs a daily supply. Excess vitamin C is not harmful as the body doesn't store it but excretes it in the urine. Also, vitamin C is easily destroyed by storage, preparation, cooking because of the heat, so it's important to have a good supply in the diet. both meals contain similar amounts of calcium. Calcium is a mineral needed for strong bones and teeth, and so a good supply is essential. In choice B, calcium is particularly high due to the cheddar cheese and white flour. In the UK, white flour is fortified with calcium by law. The spaghetti bolognese has a good amount of calcium, being supplied mainly from the Parmesan cheese, whole wheat pasta and basil. The salt in a spaghetti bolognese is about a third of the recommended amount for a day's intake, which is a healthy level. The Parmesan cheese and the added salt are used for flavour, but the amounts are not excessive. The sodium content in the cheese and onion pasty meal is too high. The meal contains more than the recommended daily maximum of 6 grams for an adult each day. A diet high in salt can lead to high blood pressure, which is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease and includes coronary heart disease and strokes. The carbohydrate is 51% in the spaghetti bolognese meal compared to 38% in the pasty meal. The ideal percentage of recommended energy for carbohydrate each day is 50% and should be a maximum of 5% from free sugars or added sugars. The pasty meal is higher in sugar. Tomato ketchup often contains added sugar. There are natural, also known as intrinsic, sugars in the vegetables. Starchy carbohydrates are a healthier choice than sugar. The spaghetti bolognese provides more complex starchy carbohydrates, such as vegetables, which often contain fibre. The pasty meal contains white flour, which you will find in the pasty, which is refined starchy carbohydrates as it's been processed. Carbohydrates provide energy for the body, so it's important for Bradley as he's so active. And to ensure health, it's important to eat 5 a day of fruit and vegetables. The spaghetti bolognese contains tomatoes, onions, green peppers, mushrooms, celery, and basil. The recommended percentage of energy from fat is 35% or less. Saturated fat should be a maximum of 11%. The spaghetti bolognese is healthier as it contains 29% of total fat compared to 55% in the pasty meal. The pasty meal contains 20% of energy from saturated fat. This is 9% more than the recommended daily intake. The high-fat ingredients include vegetable oil, lard, cheese and pastry. Low-fat ingredients include the lean minced beef, pasta and all vegetables. A diet high in saturated fats such as lard and cheese can lead to obesity, cardiovascular disease, which includes coronary heart disease and also strokes. The ideal percentage of recommended energy from protein each day is 15%. The protein percentage is 20% for choice A, the spaghetti bolognese, and 7% for the pasty meal. Therefore, spaghetti bolognese is closer to the recommended percentage. Protein is needed by Bradley for cell building and muscle repair, especially if he's carrying out a lot of exercise.